Thank you very much, Chief Secretary, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for turning up, for being here and joining the family. It feels like not only are there so many friends here, but so many new faces, and it's so encouraging always to come to a new city and find that the message still resonates and is still valuable. You never know, but every time we get invited, we keep coming, and the chairs keep filling up, and we'll keep doing it as long as that happens. It's interesting to think that people say that every journey starts with a step, and our first steps, of people have mentioned, started in the year 2000, at the same time as Civic Exchange. And we started a focus on walking because we realized very quickly it was the best indicator of a successful place, of a livable place. And the language grew over the years, where we started to talk about obesity and carbon and clean air and sustainability. But really what it always came back to, and the thing that we knew we could always measure and everyone could relate to, was walking. And so over those years, a conference has become a series. And we always go wherever we've been invited. So if you want to invite us, do have a word. Our research has become evidence, and it's been applied in so many places now around the world. It's really amazing to see how things are changing. Our charter that was so expertly crafted as part of the conversations that we've had in our conferences became our agenda. And it's been signed now by more than 500 mayors, by more than 6,000 people internationally. And there were at least 26, I think, just signed it just earlier. So thank you very much for that. And if you haven't signed it already, please go online and add your names to that list of people who are committed to this agenda. And our indicators about what works have become measures to really be able to evaluate success. And that's been vital to really understand what policies and what practices are really going to make a difference. And the moment that we had these tools, which is taking us time, but as we collect these tools in conversation, we've started to get more and more invitations, not just to host conferences like this, but through our friends and our partnerships with people like yourselves, to actually start influencing debates at a national and international level. And that has been really very rewarding for us in our team, in our small team at Walk21. Just last year, as an example, we were invited, thanks to Corny actually, who's going to be speaking in a moment from SlowCat, to speak at COP21, to talk on that international level about how to reduce carbon emissions. We presented the International Charter for Walking, and it was signed literally by ministers from all over the world. We've also been contributing recently to the UN Sustainable Habitat goals for really understanding the important things that help keep this planet green and safe and give us a future. And these are amazing to think that we are only talking about walking, and yet we can be still presenting these things at an international level. And so what started off a few steps has really become an entire movement. And what we launched very much last year was recognizing that this has got too big for us to cope with on our own. This is now a global network. We're in more than 60 countries. We know more than 5,000 people internationally. And that movement is something that you are now part of. And I hope you will continue to support us as we grow it now towards what we hope to become a foundation and start steering the way that this will evolve into the future. And if anybody has got any advice or support for how we do that, then we're very collaborative in our discussions. We were delighted to be invited to Hong Kong to be here for the first time in Asia. It was always on our agenda because we recognized that so much of our conversations until now, we've been talking about walking where people had a choice, not necessarily just where people were walking out of necessity. And I think it's very interesting that in this region in particular, there are literally millions and millions of people who only walk, and that is their only choice. And we want to make sure that we're just as relevant to them in our movement and in our conversations as we are with the people who do have a choice, and make sure that they're making positive choices that are going to be supportive and sustainable and livable and all those other words that we were talking about before. A city here with 7 million people where those choices are positively made, 90% on public transport and walking, as we've heard, is a fantastic and amazing achievement. I think amongst the highest in the world. Perhaps it is the highest in the world. Something's working right here. And we very much appreciate that we have that opportunity to discuss, to shine a light on what's working, and to actually create between us an understanding of what the opportunity is to get things even better in the future. And we're indebted to the leadership of Civic Exchange, to Maura, Simon and the whole team here, who decided that this is the right time that we should be here. This was the moment that Hong Kong should be in that spotlight globally, to make sure that we can show not just to Hong Kong and to other people in the region. I think you're going to be a beacon internationally, and we're very excited about that we can add you to our list of friends and family. And so as the movement grows, I wanted to just conclude by recognizing that at the end of the day, these events are only possible because of really useful, practical, relevant content. There's been an amazing team here of 25 people. I wanted to ask you to stand up, please, if you were involved in helping put this program together, who are in the audience. Please do stand up for 5 minutes, just 5 seconds. Come on, I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to embarrass you. Stand up. Thank you. Rodney Tolley has been with us for every conference that we've ever held. Professor Rodney Tolley, I should say, and has been an inspiration to us continually to make sure that the quality of these events works well. And I wanted to acknowledge Bronwyn Thornton particularly as well, who has been very much involved in structuring this event for us and making sure that the international elements are blended so well with the story here in Hong Kong. The speakers, the sponsors, the government, the delegates, it's that mix that is going to make this special, that's going to make this work. And I'm really grateful that I know that what we're going to end up with here is something that's not just informative and engaging, but I hope challenging and above all inspirational. Enjoy it, and I look forward to the legacy. Thank you very much.